Yeah,
Live streaming is on.
a lot of those. There's also Fair Data Society that's using Giveth right now to raise for Swarm. Uh, they're one of the big ones that are paying things out. But other than that, yeah, it's Giveth, the Common Stack, and there's the occasional other project that raises funds, Grace Aid or Castro Limon. Like they don't really get any funds right now, but there's also like a sex workers' rights group in South Africa. There's these random projects, and they don't get too many. We basically halted onboarding, but we want to keep supporting these groups, especially like Fair Data Society is the biggest external one. They have about $20,000 get paid out every month.
Yeah. So my concern would be that, I mean, the word focus is something that is used a lot, like we've thrown around a lot, but I think very few of us you actually implement it like in our personal life and in business the way it's supposed to be implemented. So like best practice would say that if we want to do a Giveth 2.0, we would focus on it, and we would find a we would think about ways to help those that need to be to help those that need to have continued support from the old platform to continue to have it while allowing us to actually focus. And so one way is, for example, as I thought we might be able to do, like, okay, let's say one more week, get everything out and change sort of like the way that people interact with it. Like, for example, this is just an idea. Like we might be able to say, look, the Giveth app version 1.0 is only going to pay out at the end of each month. Like whatever you might finish at the middle of the month and you click, but the actual transaction will only happen on the 30th or the 29th of each month, right? That way there's only like one day where we all know that there's all these pending payouts, and then everyone can sort of like be on point on that day, making sure that there's no bugs happening. Because otherwise you're going to have one transaction on a Tuesday and then another on the Wednesday. So that's one idea.
So yeah, okay, I'll let you finish.
I mean, it's one idea, and it's not the only idea. There's other things that could be discussed, but I think the main idea I want to push forward is I would propose that we figure out a way to actually be able to focus the team on Giveth 2.0, right? And when I say the team, I mean those of us that are here, right?
Yeah.
Now, we may say, look, let's bring on two people part-time who can help maintain Giveth 1.0 while this team focuses on 2.0. That might be a solution, right? So, but instead of talking of all the different solutions, right, I'd like to propose for us to think about the fact that the idea, not the fact, to think about the idea of grabbing a team of people who are actually focused on Giveth 2.0. In my experience, unless we're able to do that, unless we're able to carve out, right, people, right, and say, you're 100% of what you're doing for Giveth. Like in the case of Andre, he's 100% on Giveth. So 100% of his 100% will be on Giveth 2.0. Okay, right? And then, I mean, if you're doing 30% of your time on Giveth, then 100% of your 30% is going to be on Giveth 2.0. That would, in my experience, unless you're able to carve out a team that is focused on that, you seldom achieve either. Like you never really advance your 2.0 vision, and then you never also let go of the old one, right? And there's hundreds of examples or dozens of famous examples, that people have read about, known, but there's thousands of them that are not well known. But like one of the well known ones is, like they ask Steve Jobs to come back and save Apple, and he comes in, and what he does is he kills 90% of the products, and he says, we're just going to focus on this, right? Like literally kills it. And like people go like, but wow, what happens if, but I needed that. Like, yeah, but the company needs this. So in my opinion, in my humble opinion, because I've only looked at this from outside, I've only seen it from the outside looking in, and
Yeah.
I've only started to understand the whole Giveth galaxy. Is that if we really want to do a DAP 2.0, we need to focus on one use case, and maybe paying salaries is the most uh, the most critical one, right? Um, and then we might say to everyone who depends on this, for a given amount of time, like it's not going to work. Like for if it is 2 months, this thing is not going to work for 2 months because we are redoing it. Like, and for these 2 months, this is a side solution which is handled by these people, right, to help you maintain whatever it is needs to be maintained. So the how we do it, I don't know. What I'm proposing is that we seriously consider grabbing a short list of people and saying everything that these people will do for this amount of time will only really be Giveth 2.0. And that's where I finish my
Yeah.
2 cents.
No, I think it makes sense. I mean, I think it's probably the right strategy. I think it's a bad moment just because we lost Andre for 2 weeks. So there's so many critical thoughts. So it's hard. It's kind of like I'm excited about building a new house, but the house I'm in is on fire, and so like I wanna put out the fires and think about my new house once I have a place to sleep. um,
Yeah.
uh,
Okay. So then what I would propose is we think about, okay, let's not put out all the fires. Let's say how much time are we willing to commit to putting out as many fires as we can? Right.
But here's the thing: is I think we're putting the cart before the horse. We need to understand what the fires are. Like I can't make any decisions without going to the GitHub
And I'm not saying we should make a decision now. Like I can sort of remove myself from the call and allow you guys to do that. But what I'd like to leave a thought with is once you understand what the size of the fire is, then you can come back to me and say whatever it is. It could be a month, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 2 weeks, whatever you think is necessary to put out all these big fires. Then you let me know, and then I'll use that time to sort of like just understand what's going on, not from a team perspective, but taking some time from each of you, so a little time from each of you to understand and try to put a whole perspective together. And
Yeah.
I'll use that time. I'll let you guys do that. But hopefully, what you guys arrive to is you realize that there's only X number of critical fires that you can put out in 1-2 weeks. In the meantime, you're also building a little tent in front of the house that's burning because you're saying, look, we're just going to save the kitchen, right, for 2 weeks. And we're going to put a little tent because we know that the rest of the house, eventually we're going to let it burn down while we build the other one, right? Whatever part, So I would suggest you come up with that sort of plan. At least it's something that I can definitely help with once we've decided who of the general Giveth galaxy will be 100% focused, 100% of their Giveth time focused on DAP 2.0. And then that'll make it much easier for us to scope something that we can actually finish, and then a limited amount of people can move into this new house, whoever is in whatever use case we decide. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense. And as long, I mean, I really think after this meeting, going through together, we should be able to kind of guesstimate whether it's 1 or 2 weeks.
Good.
It shouldn't be more than 2 weeks.
Then what I can do is I can go on mute and do my thing while you guys do your thing. If you guys allow me to listen in, then I can listen in and it helps.
Yeah, of course.
But I'll, unless somebody asks me a question directly that I can help with, then I can let you guys deal with the fires.
Yes, the
All right.
fire.
All right.
Hi.
Okay, so yeah, well, let's pick it out. Andre, do you have any thing you want to start with?
Yes. Well, I think I already we already saw the. I really picked down on the 30K die, as I previously mentioned. It's about the low connectivity when the delegation happened. We need a prevention to Um, what we really need is atomic transactions. That doesn't really exist on the delegations. What happens is that when donating to a milestone or a campaign, it's an atomic transaction. But when delegating is actually what actually happened is that it duplicated many times, and that should not have happened. Like the counter on the campaign funds, it continuously went down because of this bug, and that's because we don't have an atomic transaction system on the delegation. So in order to truly fix this issue, we need to pick down the delegation's future to eradicate any situation that if it fails or it's duplicated, it should not reduce the counter, it should not reduce the amount on it or any way, because this is a big issue. um, it's just a display issue, but it eradicates the transparency on the campaign.
It,
Yeah,
it's a display issue, and then it also, because of the display issue, it means that people they don't have money in their campaigns anymore.
yeah, there's 30K or over 30K not on the campaign. So I think this week I'm gonna dedicate my time to this future. Well, I'm sorry, to this bug. What I previously mentioned is I need to take a look to see if there's a log of the transactions that went on MongoDB, because it's just a MongoDB issue, but there's no really a way to sync. I can make a sync process or a sync script that counts all the donations previously and all the donations consumed, and then compare it and make a sync process that checks how much money is spent, how much money was donated, and then sync the real number and update it. That's one solution. If I don't find a log to revert the duplicates, so I have some approaches to this, but definitely this week needs to get it done. Needs to be done. Hopefully today, tomorrow. I hopefully as soon as possible on the 30K.
Okay.
And also the second thing that we're trying to put, I think it was a future on the noisy automated accounting, but since we have the bugs, I think we should prioritize mainly bugs right now and eradicate them first. I don't know if you agree to that, Griff, to just put a little bit of pause on the CSV future and until we eradicate everything.
Yeah, it's really too bad, because that feature would be it would actually, it almost feels like it would help this bug, right? Like
Yeah,
it would make it easy to be like, oh yeah, that's
a little bit.
is in it.
We can definitely continue on. I will try to finish that as well if I finish this 30K missing as soon as possible. And well, basically, I have seen Amin also fixing a lot of bugs this week. He merged some branches. Uh, I just wanted to point out maybe um, because we have not we don't have really reviewers on the branch code review kind of thing. So what we can do, maybe because this is a new process that we didn't have before, maybe we can review each other branch. I mean, like if you push something, if I push something, you can review my code, and I review.
Request for review.
Yeah, mutual code review, so we can just because it ends up being a little bit hard when we push everything to master just to review the whole thing. Maybe we can just review piece by piece each other, and we make it easier just to make sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's great. I think about that because code will become perfect by reviewing code. If I review your code and you for me, but I have not. I don't know how. Is it possible in GitHub? I saw there was some button beside that request for review. If I push the button, is it blocked until you review review my commit?
Request review. I think if you go to your pull request and if you see the difference on the files, like if you see files change, if you go to the section that says files change, that's the section where you review the code, and basically you just click on view on every file, and after you end up that, you click on review changes. Let me know if that option shows up to you, so you can also, if not, I need to make some changes in the permissions and
Yeah, oh, no, I actually about another feature that GitHub has, and
oh,
it has two items for one for you and one for other developer. I cannot remember his name. From that there was a there was a click button that it's a request for review. I think that I didn't push the button, but I will test it next time, and I let you know.
perfect,
It would be
yes,
great.
that will work awesome. And I don't know if there is some other issues that we want to point out right now. Maybe you, Amin, or Griff. I have seen.
Uh, I think issue 996 is basically the one of the core issues with 1005. That's the one where it's repeated. So I just throw that in there in the sprint backlog. It should be solved at the same time.
Yeah, 996 was the Chris milestone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that is right now fixed. He got paid actually today, I think.
Oh, nice. So we can close that.
Yeah, so we can definitely close that one. What it remains is just I think I'll make another issue uh, to work on the well, it's a 30K missing, so that's the issue, the main issue that is right. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one, I don't actually see it on here, but Bowen has a milestone that got 150 die that's stuck. Did he mention that to you?
No, he actually haven't mentioned. I think you mentioned that previously right now, but I have been checking the GitHub mails, and I didn't receive any issue. I'm not sure if he created an issue.
I'll
I'm
just
looking at
uh,
that.
I'll just put it in there. Make it right now. Send the link here.
Is that Bowen on the Common Stack campaign, or
No, it's not on the Common Stack campaign. This is just like a delegation is stuck. It could be a similar issue. I'm not sure. I mean, this is what I worry about is that there might be this issue, the issue that came up for the 30K. It only became such a big issue because the delegation was so large. Like there was a $25,000 delegation. So I
yeah,
wonder if there are other delegations where this happened, but the delegation was 500 and no one really noticed, you know?
Yeah.
definitely. We need to take a look at that.
Um,
Um,
I mean,
I will take a look at that in this week.
yeah, I don't think his is that issue, but it's stopping payment, so it's probably worth it.
I will ask personally to see if he created an issue or if I can catch up with him. I'll just ping him on Riot.
Uh, there's another one. Yeah, I made an issue for it just to get it started. Uh, there's another one, 981.
981. Oh, this is from Nani.
Yeah,
Okay, this is me. Oh yeah, I saw this one, but um, yeah, I wanted a little bit of clarification on this. It seems to be related to the delegations putting more than it should. Is that what I understood?
yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what it looks like. Um, I, it just it looks kind of high priority ish.
Yeah, I will ping Danny. I haven't had the time on these 2 weeks
Of
to catch
course.
up on this, but I'll
No,
definitely ping her.
Andre, let me just say, I'm so glad you took some weeks off to like, you know, like not burn out. You've been killing it, man. So, like, it's been really good to. I'm glad that you were able to take some time.
Thank you.
No, no worries.
I agree.
I actually Amin has been thank you so much, Griff, but Amin has been doing such a great job as well. I think he deserves a little bit of that. Thank you,
You're too
Amin.
kind. No, no, thank you. I just implemented some features. Just that.
And bug fixes as well. Yeah.
No,
But
my job was almost in at the UI and sometime further, but because I don't have access to MongoDB, I am not involved not much. I hope I can uh, be more help on backend and MongoDB if and the real time and the real project and the beta give us.
mhm. I will take a look if I can give you access on the MongoDB on develop, so we can definitely. Yeah, I was not being able to catch up, but I'll see if I can find the access for that.
Yeah, I know you did. We tried once, but it wasn't successful. But, maybe I think read permission is enough for right now.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I'll take a look on this week. Um, Let me take a look if I see another issue. Um, can commit a donation. That's 957.
9:57.
I'm not sure if this has been resolved yet, but it seems that it doesn't. Um, and again, it seems to be the problem with the delegations related. For some reason, is not being able to delegate something. But I think I need more information. I'll try to ping Lorelai if she can put more description into this one because I'm not sure.
Another each of my tries to admit with anything. Interesting. So it's basically, I think that she's saying that some delegations got proposed.
Yeah, I think she cannot commit the proposed delegations for some reason, but I haven't been able to replicate that. Um, Maybe it's. I'll need to take a look and see if I can replicate this one.
Yeah,
That's weird.
yeah, it's weird. No, two donations are marked as committed, even though I know they aren't. So that's interesting. Basically, she's saying that she was trying to commit her own two delegations,
Oh,
and then actually one of my delegations got committed instead.
that's strange.
That's very strange. Um,
I'll need to. We will need to take a look at these ones. I'm thinking about Rinkaby. Um, Probably some issues with Rinkaby. I'm not sure, but I'll see if I can take a look at what is happening.
yeah, I mean, I, I would probably expect it to be more MongoDB because MongoDB seems to be fucking a lot of things up lately.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is like, they are atomic transactions on Rinkeby, you
Yeah.
know? Like, it is actually,
There's no way to not do an atomic transaction on Rinkeby.
yeah. So it's kind of weird. Uh, it, it's kind of weird that we don't easily have MongoDB sync up with Rinkeby, you know?
Yeah. It's specifically on the delegation side that is not happening because that is purely MongoDB. Delegations is just not interacting with, it's just signing a transaction. But I'll see if I made another issue about the delegations.
Wait,
It has, it has,
dele- but delegations do create a transaction on Rinkeby, don't they?
yes, they do, but I think this um, it actually doesn't move the fonts anywhere. It's just
Well, it doesn't move the funds, but it moves pledges.
okay, I see. So
And
that
so
declarates.
and so you should be able to see in each in the pledges like what how much money is where, you know? Like that is all basically defined. It's kind of like, you know, the pledges are an abstraction of the tokens that are in there. So like there there is a clear amount for that is in each of these campaigns and milestones. It's just they're hidden in the pledges.
I definitely need to take a look at that then, because I that will change a little bit on the perspective on the 30K, how that happened. Um,
Well, that's the thing. The 30K is still in there.
yeah,
It's just the MongoDB says it's not, and apparently MongoDB doesn't sync with the pledges.
very likely. Yeah, I'll see what I can find.
Okay. Yeah. And I if you think that it's gonna take a really long time, I could try to get RJ to come in.
Yeah,
And,
definitely. I'll peek into it and I'll let you know, of course.
okay.
I don't know if is there any other issue that we might overseen. Uh, I think I have. I think Amin took down some important ones about the slider, so that's great.
Yeah, the sliders are working way better.
Yeah. Did you try that? I committed today.
Uh,
Actually,
yeah, I mean, I delegated to a couple milestones today, and the slider worked perfectly.
does commits deployed on the beta automatically?
No, it should be on develop right now, but
Oh, okay.
it's just a specific case where the slider goes whole crazy, and I think, but that is a very critical thing. It should not happen anywhere.
Yeah, because you said that you tried that, but I just deployed it today in my time, a few hours before. I wanted to know. I understand that. I found that it's deployed on the developed beta that developed that Giveth automatically, but about beta, I think it should take. Do you deploy it manually? Do you deploy and beta manually?
Well, it actually when it's merged to master, that is automatically deployed to beta. So we're doing that actually today, a release to beta, and that's it.
Okay. After that, it will deploy it on beta. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So after that, you there is some change if you agree because there was a problem with small values
Yeah,
and
Exactly.
I did some change. I hope it would be fancy enough.
That's great. Um, I'm looking here, and I think that's the main issues right now. I don't know if there is another one that we might not be seeing.
No, I mean, I think just like doing a deep dive into MongoDB clearly is like the big task for the week. So there might be some issues, like probably doing an overview of the issues, which I think you generally do as they come in, right? Uh,
Yeah.
just kind of like check and just being aware of like any other issues around that might be fixed by MongoDB.
Yes, definitely. Um, I think we will need to curate also some new issues on. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to get see if we can make another call by tomorrow just to curate all the GitHub because we want. I think this call is just to look at critical and talk about the progress and see about the plan, and maybe we can curate the issues on another call just so it doesn't get us because it will take a long time to just go by one by one.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll see if tomorrow we can get together, maybe with Amin, Rafa, or Griff, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
the other big praise I want to give is this. The Giveth DAC has been raking it in on these 3%.
Yeah, it's growing.
Yeah, 330 DAI have come in to the Giveth DAC, and the DAC has 16 Ether now. I don't know where that Ether is all coming from exactly, or if it was already there, but it's pretty cool. So that's working really well. Although there is a lot of like pending transactions
uh,
at the bottom of some of these campaigns, like in the Gift DAC.
yeah, I identified that problem. It seems to be when it fails for some reason on the mainnet. It creates a transaction on Rinkeby, but it never goes, and it gets pending like forever for some reason. I'll need to take a look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it makes a transaction on Rinkeby before the transaction has succeeded, or it makes a transaction on Rinkeby even though the transaction has failed.
Yeah, what it happens on some parts of the code is that when it fails, it doesn't stop the code. It just goes on and creates whatever is next, and that's probably what happened on the delegations about the 30K because if it fails, it should just stop the code and not do anything else. Well, in this case, it got duplicated. It didn't fail, but it should be the same case scenario when it fails or it's already done. It should not continue.
Yeah.
Oh, Android, excuse me. During testing the slider, I noticed there is a small bug that think consider I have 100 F on my account. I want
Yes.
to delegate to one uncapped milestone, and actually by the 3% donation to DAC, it increases my max amount to 103 F.
Oh, yeah, that's actually on purpose because if you want to fill a milestone and it has the 3% activated, it will actually be impossible to fill that milestone if you don't donate 3% over. So what happens is that when you try to fill a milestone, you are donating 3% over. So, for example, if it's 100 ether, it will need to be 103 ether. to fill that milestone, because 3% is going to the DAC that the user selected.
I know. I think I say that because max amount is limited to my account balance.
Okay.
But I can balance have 100 ether,
Okay. So
but
it's over,
the slider goes to 103.
so it's over your
So
balance.
yeah, it's over my balance, and I didn't fix that. I didn't report an issue, but I'm telling you right now.
Okay, perfect. So we will wait until that fix, and we will then do the release.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this is in the current release. So okay, I'm not gonna make an issue on this. You guys have it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just gonna wait.
Cool. Well then, on the other side of things, are you guys up? Like, how are you guys doing on milestones? Just while I have you here, like, payment wise, I haven't been following as closely. So, do you guys have?
Well, I have been using the funds on the development campaign, as you said, Griff. So I paid Min last 2 weeks. I think Amin is just catched up, but I think we are we are at 1,200, and we probably next milestones will not be able to fund. So so yeah,
Perfect.
that's the situation.
Would any of you guys be interested in being paid in Ether for a couple weeks?
I think yeah, well, I have no problem with that. I think I also, about speaking about Rafa, I think he will be doing some of that work as well, just the delegations and the payments, administration of the Giveth development.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I have no problem too with that.
Yeah, because I'm just noticing that there's extra ETH in the DAC,
Oh,
so I would like to delegate that to the DApp campaign, and then have you guys be able to use that to uh,
fun.
to fund some milestones. Uh, but that means that the exchange rate that you would use is the last
Yes.
day of the payment day. And so what happens is, things get wild if you don't get paid early. You get underpaid or overpaid based on
Yeah.
the value of the ether. So I guess what I'd say is, like,
Use.
when you make a milestone timely, and then fund it timely, and to mitigate the exchange rate risk.
I agree. Yes. Um, yeah.
But you can also say, I don't know if I want to play with the exchange rate risk. I don't want to invest in ether, and then I won't put the ether in there. I'll put that somewhere else and send DAI there. So, like,
Well, I have no issues, but I think maybe.
I mean,
I have no issue. No, I have no issue with Ethereum because currently I've changed a DAI to Ethereum right now.
oh yeah, you're changing all your DAI to ether anyway. Okay,
Yeah, no
and
problem.
that's really easy. We should make all of your future milestones in ETH.
And so I think you made a very good point, Griff. And I was about to say more or less the same thing. So as long as you leave the choice of whether to stay in ETH or convert to DAI up to the end user who's receiving the amount, then it shouldn't be any problem. Uh, because they can always choose to convert immediately to DAI if they don't want the risk. But anytime that there is a lag between when the person finishes what they want to do and clicks what they've done and clicks I'm done with the milestone or whatever we want to call it, that lag time from that moment until they actually receive funds that they can make decisions on would be critical if it's in Ethereum, basically, from a user
Exactly.
from a customer journey perspective, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if the price goes up, then they're like, woo, you know, I got paid extra. But if the price goes down, it's like, holy shit, these guys are scamming me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but even when the price goes up, it's also not good because it's not good for the it's not good for the whole system. Basically, I mean that person might be happy at one time, but the system is not balanced, and then uh, it creates these false expectations, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, exchange rate risk is a real issue. It's pretty damning. I mean, that's why we moved everything to DAI. But uh, you know, people still donate in Ether, so
They like it there.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe some finishing thoughts, guys. Like something else you want to point out. Um, I think um, Rafa is joining in, so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can do a quick round. I just say
Nice to see you, champ.
I'm so happy to have Rafa join in and push the Giveth 2.0. I know I might sound resistant, but it's just because there's people I need to pay that I can't, so I'm having a real challenge with that. But in the end, I'm very excited about like trying to figure out how to best put this DApp on pause and in maintenance mode and be able to really dive into the Giveth 2.0 system and like scoping it, designing it, and building some of it. You know, I'm really excited about that. But this week, man, let's attack some of these issues. I would really like the CSV feature is like the one feature that I would really like to see because it seems like it's really close. But other than that, it should be like all, and also that will help us do accounting for the rest of these bugs. But other than that, let's just, I think if we just focus on the bugs that are preventing people from getting paid, uh, and then if there's extra time, the CSV thing, and then if there's extra time, really just hanging out with Rafa and trying to figure out what we can do to get 2.0 off the ground. That's how I feel about things, but at the same time, I'm very open to suggestions and other ideas.
I just like to add that I'm very excited about this, putting my 2 cents into this and helping give it 2.0 come about. I do have to, not because I do have to be very specified. My abilities, what I can bring to the team, is really only useful to give it if we are able to carve out a team. I assume it should be this team here to be focused for a given amount of time. That's really the only way that I can help. I'm not a I'm not a programmer that can just come in and help on a few things. I'm more like an architect that can help you think about the vision and the future. Um, and so, if we can figure out a way to at a certain amount of time, a week or two, to arrive at the point where we can pause this, and if we can find a team of people that are able and willing to support on the maintenance side of it, right? And maybe some of the from the Giveth universe, there are people who are interested, of course, in making sure that this Giveth 1.0 continues to function at least until there is a viable 2.0. We might be able to find people that can put in some of their time that can then be supported by Amin and Andre with 5% of their time, right? To sort of just do the maintenance side for 2-3 months so that we can take Amin and Andre and those of us here and focus on the 2.0. I think, but I do believe that if we cannot find a team of developers that can be focused on 2.0, then my time and eventually the money that Giveth will pay out for me would probably will not make sense. Just because I'm just going to be sort of like waiting for you guys to finish something before I can actually help on certain points.
Yeah,
So just keep that in mind.
absolutely. pass it to Amin.
Yeah, I do you know what will be the stack of the? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
What will be our tech stack? I have two questions from Rafa. If he answer, it will be great. What will be our stack if we want to develop the Giveth 2.0? I mean, do we use TypeScript instead of JavaScript? Uh, and another question is how long did how much do you think it would be take to how long it would be take to develop Giveth 2.0? Because maybe I have opportunity to dedicate more time. I'm currently working part-time at Giveth. Maybe I become full-time if I have good estimate of how long it would take.
Okay, well, um,
I mean,
you want to say something, Griff?
well, I was just gonna say this is really supposed to be a checkout time because our meeting's over. But by the way, I think you can respond. I don't. I assume that we haven't decided on the exact stack, uh,
That's correct.
and that the timeline is like it's going to be iterative, so it'll go for a long time, but we'll have set projects. This is what I assume, Rafa. But
Yeah, so there's no specific answer on the tech stack right now because we first, and this is the approach that I want to bring here. I want to start, I want to flip the way we do this, and I want to start from the user experience, from the customer journey, from selecting that one use case. And then and once we select that one use case, I want to then start interviewing all the different people. Which this is stuff that I can do while you guys are putting out these fires, while you are preparing and you're finding the team that can support during the maintenance phase, and while you're setting up that date where we can pause the support of this team or the main Give It 2.0 team, we can pause there and move them over to Give It 2.0. In that time, I can have these conversations with you guys and help you decide and help us decide which is the use case, what kind of customer journey, user experience we want. And then once we learn all those things, then we think about what is the tech stack that can best deliver what we need based on your experience. That would be the last question.
Great.
um, yeah, and I guess one more thing to add on to my checkout. We have two people that want to start contributing more, and they have been pushing even though Andre has been out of town. So they've been like doing really good work. I think at least just trying to get Giveth running locally and all this stuff. I think you were able to help them a lot, and so I hope that we can also spend some time this week to like support them in starting some issues and like just cultivate their interest because maybe also they might be able to help us if we're trying to source developers.
Maybe that's a good way to onboard them if we decide that there's going to be a maintenance team and a 2.0 team. So 1.0 maintenance team and a development team for 2.0. If you guys decide that there's an opportunity to onboard these people, and then in the next 2 weeks, if you're going to deal with the fires, and also at the same time sort of like train them to take over as maintenance team after you guys have lost your site, and then they would only require 5% of your time to sort of support them as they are hammering out the 1.0 bugs. Anyway, so I'd like you guys to think about that and come back to me with who's the team that I can and by when, who's the team and by when. I think that's a good homework to leave with, like who would be the team and by when, and what percentage of their time they're going to have to focus on Giveth 2.0. That would be great on my side. It's sort of the inputs that these are the inputs that I need.
Yeah. Andre, did you want to check out?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to. I think it's a great thing that what is happening, and I wanted to just finish this critical situation so we can just focus on this big project that's coming up.
I dug out my wife's comment.
Oh,
Cool, Andre. That's great, man. And did you say you wanted to do another meeting this week?
well, we haven't created. I mean, it's a 2 week. It has been 2 weeks since we create the GitHub, so I just wanted to know if there is like something we're missing. Um, Everyone's welcome. I'll try to make it tomorrow to see if someone is available, so we can just look at them together. If not, I mean, I will just I'll just do it if with the hands I have.
I mean, are you at all available like in the morning your time?
My time.
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry.
in the morning, my time. When tomorrow?
I guess that would be the next day, Wednesday, for you. Like what time?
Yeah.
What time would you be available? Just because like if it's just us, I don't know. I'm just curious about timing. Like if there's availability, like what time in the morning are you available to meet up in case we want to do an afternoon call?
Yeah, I have no problem with mornings. I will be available after 10 a.m. My time. My time is Tehran, UTC plus 13 minutes. Tehran
Oh,
time
okay.
search.
So
No,
so
I will talk with you, Gues, Griff, about my time personally.
okay. Well, that would be. I guess that would be like midnight our time. So that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Oh,
I was just checking.
what's your time? What you are?
We're
I
on the West Coast, like LA.
uh, time zone.
I think
Uh,
this timing makes more sense, I would say, than mornings. I just wanted to
yeah,
get that check in.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Great.
Andre. I'm free tomorrow at this time if you guys wanted to do that at 10.
Perfect.
So
Yes. I'll just put a reminder.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Bye. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.